everyone. This is Tommy Stewart Stazeski. Some of you know me as Tommy Stewart in the music business. Some of you know me as Tommy Stazeski if you knew me my whole life. Um, Welcome to my channel, Tom Stewart Drums. So I'm posting this video because it seems like the dust is starting to settle a little bit on the last ever Kiss shows that were at Madison Square Garden last weekend. Celebrating 50 years of the band, and I was playing with my own band out in Toledo that night. I'm in a Journey tribute band, Separate Ways, and we had a gig. And I think when these tickets went on sale, so I was making money that night instead of spending money, which is always a good thing. But when these tickets went on sale for the final Kiss shows, I mean, let me just say, for those of you that don't know me personally, I've been a fan since '76. I'm 54 years old, so I got started pretty young, 6 years old, with Destroyer, thanks to my dad. First concert was December '77 with Piper at the Spectrum on the Alive 2 tour. Saw them with Priest at the Spectrum in '79 on Dynasty. And from Lick It Up on, pretty much saw every tour up until Sonic Boom, which was 2008 in Philly. I even went to the Aerosmith double bill thing where I think Peter was playing drums and Tommy Thayer was on guitar. But anyway, I stuck with the band all throughout the 80s and through the disco years and getting made fun of, and just a lot of tough times with this band. When you're talking about the Dynasty Unmasked Elder years up until Creatures, pretty brutal. It was the equivalent of, being a dude and like really being into, New Kids on the Block or something. Like it wasn't. They were looked at on that level, like they were like a kiddie band or New Kids is like a girl band, boy band. Very similar sort of vibe, going on, and it was just pretty tough. Stuck through them throughout all that. Gave all the music that they were putting out a fair shot. Even though some of it was not so good, some of it was better than others, I still loved it because it was Kiss, and I was willing to, pretty much listen to all of it. So anyway, I ran a fan club in the '80s for about 3 years when I was in high school. Printed it myself, laid it out, did all the typesetting with another friend of mine, John. And so, down in the trenches with these guys for 48 years as a fan. So I feel like my emotions around these last few shows, well, actually, I got to be honest, I bailed out on the band pretty much when they started dressing Tommy and Eric up as Ace and Peter. I mean, it was just a little bridge too far for me to walk over with them. Still paid attention to what they did, bought the albums, Monster and, Sonic Boom and all that, and I just would casually follow them from a distance, but my collecting days were over. And after seeing them in 2008 with Tommy and Eric, that was the last. I wasn't feeling it anymore. I just felt it was wrong. Nothing against Tommy and Eric. They're just doing their jobs, and I would do the same thing if they offered it to me. So it's not a knock on them. It's just a matter of principle. And I feel like it's a wrong thing to do, and I wasn't happy with it. Really wasn't emotionally attached to it at all anymore. It was more of a nostalgia thing. And the 2008 show, Paul's voice was already going. I knew something was wrong. He sounded like he ran around the block 20 times before he got on stage. So I was kind of wondering what was up with that. And, year by year since then, it's been a kind of a steady decline until they finally started having him sing along to a lead vocal backing track, which is ironic because Paul spends a lot of time ragging on Ace and Peter's abilities and that they can't hold up anymore and they don't deserve to be in the band because they're just not what they used to be, and here he is singing to a track. So think of that what you will, but I find that kind of curious. So forgetting all that, the last few shows, that's my background as far as being a fan. There's a lot more. I'm not going to spend 20 minutes talking about everything I experienced with them, but met them a lot of times. Met Gene and Paul in 1980 when I was 10, the night after they did the Palladium show, actually, in New York. a lot of history with these guys. It's my favorite band growing up, and still to this day, the '70s era is still my favorite band. Um, just a huge, huge impact on me as a kid and as a musician, and just being into music. They made my life better in a lot of ways, and frustrating sometimes. But so when they announced these final shows, I was kind of, do I want to go? Do I not want to go? Because I don't really care about the current lineup. It doesn't do anything for me. It would just be nostalgia. Paul really can't sing anymore. All the usual hater reasons that I wouldn't go. Um, I was considering it, and then Gene started talking about Ace and Peter being asked and invited, and anybody that wants to show up can show up if they want to, which is kind of like dangling a carrot for everybody. I mean, could you imagine if when the piano comes up from underneath the stage for Beth at the Garden on that last night, if it was Peter Criss sitting there instead of Eric Singer, the place would have went fucking bananas. Rightfully so. I mean, missed opportunity, man. Big time. I mean, that's how you make grown men cry. I mean, it is. If I was there and that happened, I'd have tears in my eyes. I mean, no doubt. I have no emotional attachment to watching Tommy Thayer and Eric Singer take a bow with Gene and Paul. I mean, I just don't. It's not going to bring a tear to my eye or nothing. It's just, I mean, I have no emotional attachment to those guys. But seeing Ace come out and do Shock Me with the smoking guitar one last time, or maybe taking a bow, Black Diamond, Peter singing that, those would have been moments that would really have touched a lot of people that night, regardless of all the bullshit nonsense arguing that goes on between these guys. That really would have been an amazing thing to do, and it's just a shame that they didn't feel it was, worthy enough to make the effort, because you can't just make an offer and say, oh, if you guys want to show up, you can show up. I mean, you got to make a legitimate financial offer, and you have to make a legitimate effort to rehearse it, plan it, have an agreement. It's not just, show up at the back door with your guitar and your drumsticks, and maybe we'll let you come on and sing something or play something or whatever. That's not the way it works, and they know it. It's just a total bullshit thing to say to get people to maybe hope that these guys would show up, and it maybe would happen, or well, we invited them but they said no, kind of a thing. Well, it wasn't a serious offer. It's not a serious offer just saying you're welcome to show up. That's not how it works in business and in the music business. Anybody that knows anything knows that. But I said to myself, unless the original guys are going to reunite and do an encore, to me it should be Beth, Shock Me, or New York Groove, but Shock Me would be cooler. Black Diamond, Peter sings Beth and Black Diamond. Ace gets to do Shock Me, and then they end with the big song, Rock and Roll All Night. They take a bow. Maybe you have Bruce come out earlier and do Heaven's on Fire or something. That would be cool. That's worthy of me spending hundreds or thousands of dollars and, not doing a gig that night and whatever sacrifices are involved in going into New York City and dealing with that pain in the ass with traffic and parking and whatever. But it would have been a fun day to hang out with friends. That's my only regret not going, is not seeing a lot of people that I've known for a very, very long time and just getting to hang out with them and have fun. That's the only reason that I have any regrets about not going. And so I didn't buy tickets. I figured, you know what, I'm going to wait and play the waiting game and see what happens. And if there is any inkling at all that, there's rumblings that Ace and Peter are going to show up, I'm in. So I waited and I waited and I waited. And then finally, Paul went on, when Kiss was on the Stern Show, and they were asked about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and why the original band didn't play. And Paul said, well, the band would have been called Piss if the original band played. That was it. Out, done, okay, it's never going to happen. And then Ace started with his shit back in flinging shit back and forth with Paul on the Eddie Trunk show, and I knew that was the final nail in that coffin, and that was not going to happen. So, okay, I'm not going to go, and we'll see what happens. Maybe at the last minute they'll pull something out. There's got to be something. 50 years, last show ever. There's got to be something special that they are going to do to commemorate this, 50 years of gigging live. So I didn't go. Went and played my show and just kind of paid attention to YouTube and that night when I got back from playing the gig to see what was actually going to happen at the Garden that night. And so I'm watching the videos and I'm paying attention and I'm seeing that, well, first of all, the night before there was no change to anything, no set list change, nothing particularly different from any other show that they've been doing for the last 4 or 5 years. And I think to myself, something's got to happen. Somebody's got to show up. They got to make mention, acknowledge, whatever. So there's got to be something different about this last show. It's 50 years. It's a big deal. It's not just another show, no matter what anybody wants to try to tell you. I wasn't expecting anything special. Well, then maybe you should have. Why should the last show ever be the same show that they played in Boise, Idaho, or whatever, 3 weeks ago? It should not be the same show. That's basically saying there's no significance to 50 years of playing live and being a band and being successful and ending your career. There's no big deal. No different. Why do anything different? It's a slap in the face to me. I feel bad for everybody who spent thousands of dollars flying in from, Germany, Sweden, Japan, England, wherever they came from. Maybe they weren't expecting anything, but I'm sure some people were hoping and expecting something. And they got nothing. No acknowledgement of any former members at all. Eric Carr, it's a disgrace to not even spend 30 seconds or a minute talking about Eric Carr at the last show. That's one of the most stunning things. Okay, you're pissed off at Ace and Pete or whatever. You don't want to mention them. But no mention of Bill Aucoin, the guy who was responsible for, basically taking you guys, the band on and signing them and giving them a chance. Neil Bogart, same thing. But without those two guys, there was probably going to be no Kiss. And they put all the money behind it, stood by the band, let them do what they wanted to do creatively, as crazy as it was, and really were the financial backing to the band in order for them to survive. No mention of those guys at all. No mention of Sean Delaney. Sean Delaney created a lot of what you see in the Kiss shows, between the blood spitting and the choreographed stage moves. Helped produce and shape a lot of the songwriting ideas and things. He helped out a lot on Rock 'Em All Over. I think he had some co-writes maybe, but it was a lot of creative stuff that he did behind the scenes that were really responsible for a lot of things that we loved about the band. No mention of any of those three guys at all. Nothing. And then we know why they didn't mention Vinny, and then you got Bruce, who, first of all, Vinny came in with the songs. Like him or hate him, Kiss was dead in the water by after Creatures of the Night, right around that time. And Vinny came in with great songs and great ideas and helped rejuvenate the band, just like Eric Carr did with his drumming. They needed a powerful double bass kind of drummer to get through the 80s. And they were dead in the water when Peter left in this country, and Eric came in, saved them, but helped rejuvenate the band and give them some more energy and a reason to keep going. And Vinny did the same thing with his songs. Whether he's crazy or has personality issues or whatever is a separate issue, but reality is all these people, and then Bruce came in, and when they needed somebody, when Mark St. John, had issues, and was their guy. Good soldier, good employee, did what was required, wasn't, a problem, and got them through up to the reunion. All throughout the 80s, there was all these people that were part of the story that kept the band afloat, and they got shit at the last show. Nothing. Not even a fuck you, thank you, kiss my ass, nothing. So, to me, that's a disgrace. It really is. As a fan, it's a slap in the face to them. It just seems to me like they just wanted everybody to just, acknowledge them and the current band, and nobody had anything else to do with any of their success except Gene and Paul and these other two guys, Eric and Tommy, that kept them able to tour for the last, 20 years or whatever, however long it's been. Not a knock on them, but I mean, come on, guys. That might fly with people that just discovered the band within the last 10 or 15 years, but the rest of us that have been around for 30, 40 plus years, it just wasn't right. It was the wrong thing. The title of the video, it was an epic fail and a missed opportunity. And it's a damn shame, because I feel bad for all the people that came there expecting something more than that. Now, I have a lot of friends who are, mega fans still to this day. Guys in tribute bands, guys that do podcasts, guys I grew up with, and they're all in, and that's fine. I mean, I no problem with that at all. I mean, that to each his own. I respect the idea of going and having a good time and not getting hung up on being pissed off about things that maybe to you don't matter. And it's I have no problem with that. If you went and had a great time and you weren't expecting anything special about the last show ever, and then you got what you wanted, and that's awesome. But I'm seeing a lot of comments online about anybody who's like me, who is saying, well, why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? This is wrong. This is wrong. Being labeled as haters and not real fans. And listen, I paid my fucking dues. I mean, I've been into this band for 48 years and been through a lot, did a lot to support them, spent an awful lot of money and an awful lot of time on this band. And if nothing else, people like me that feel this way have a right to at least just be honest. I'm not going to just sit here and blow smoke up everybody's ass and pretend that I can accept everything that they do because it's Kiss. Because, look, they're human beings. They can do dumb shit, too, just like the rest of us. And if I think it's dumb, I'm going to say so. Or if I think it's a mistake or a disgrace or whatever. And so I'm going to be honest. If that somebody thinks I'm being a hater, that's on them. Whatever. I mean, anything that I'm saying is not a knock on other fans who enjoyed it. It's a knock on the band and their decisions. It's nothing to do with you as a fan. I'm not criticizing you for going and having a good time. Whatever. That's just totally your business, your money, your time. You do what you want with it, and that's great. But me, on the other hand, I'm just glad I did not spend the money to go to these shows, because I would have been very disappointed. And basically, they just set up merchandise shops all across New York City for everybody to spend their money, but they didn't do anything with the show that was really anything special. So, to me, that was just an epic fail, like I said. And the Avatars, I mean, come on, really. It's a joke. It is. I mean, I'm not 10 years old. I'm not into comic books. I'm not into anime and all that stuff. If you are, and this is exciting you, then that's cool. But for them to act like this is making them immortal, it's not making you immortal. What makes you immortal is all the albums you released and the music that you're leaving behind, and the memories, and all the things that is what lives on, is your catalog. That makes you immortal. Long after the Beatles are all dead and gone, long after Elvis has been dead, the Rolling Stones when they're gone, The Who, Zeppelin, Hendrix, The Doors, everybody, they're all immortal through their music. They're not doing avatars. They're not trying to convince you that you have to go watch a screen somewhere or watch, cartoons while listening to pre-recorded canned Kiss music, or that's not going to make you immortal. That's just another, to me, way to try to, maybe gather some interest with younger fans. I don't know. but I think it's a bad idea. I mean, I think I heard Gene invested $200 million into this, and God forbid, Nick and Sophie are probably looking at their inheritance being pissed away. To be honest with you, pissed. No pun intended. But I'd be furious if I was the kids. I'd be like, "What are you doing with our money? Because when you're gone, this is our inheritance, and you're pissing it away on something that's dumb. It's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna work. Maybe it will. I don't know. I think everybody talks about the ABBA thing. It's a totally different thing. They built their own arena. It's sort of a simulated live show, and ABBA was gone for 40 years and hardly ever toured, and they have a very strong fan base in Europe that will go see that because they never got to see them live. So they're going to go to that over and over again and to experience it. People are traveling. Something like that with Kiss is not, it's a one and done thing. Maybe I would go see it once if it was like $20 to go see it, but much more exciting idea I feel like they should have done is a sanctioned tribute. You know, I know guys in tribute bands, and I'm not going to mention any names because I don't want to play favorites, but there's a few of them out there, and you know who they are, that are excellent at what they do. And Kiss could have cherry-picked any of these bands, put some money behind them. And I feel like they should have just toured, you know, do like a 2-year tour, reconstruct the Destroyer show, like to the T, perfect. Recreate the Destroyer show, take that out for 2 years. Recreate the Love Gun show, take it out for a couple of years. Do it with a live, maybe do like a first album / Hotter Than Hell show, and then doing a live show, do a Dynasty show. If you want to go up to like Creatures, maybe. But you could milk that for 10 years easily, just by doing different tours and taking it around the country, taking it around the world. I would go see that if it was done right, with a lot of money behind it, and you know, it was just a fun night out to relive some of the past history and stuff like that, and with a real live band, with real human beings, and some, you know, not just a cartoon, which to me is just ludicrous. It's like virtual reality stuff, and I have no interest in it. None. Zero. I think it's a huge mistake. But we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. So, yeah, that's my two cents on what's going on right now with the band. It's very disappointing, but, you know, look, keep putting out the deluxe box sets of all the old albums. I'm in. Put out coffee table photo albums of every tour. I'm in. Put out videos, Blu-ray, maybe remaster in 4K, some of the old footage. I'm in. You know, any of that cool stuff like that, just I'm totally down with. But I think they made a very huge mistake with these last few shows, and it was a missed opportunity. It should have been way cooler, way special for a band that's that special and important to so many people for 50 years. And I said, like a lot of things that they do, as a fan, we scratch our heads. The Elder, you know, Carnival of Souls. I mean, we know why they do that stuff. Just try to, you know, be relevant or whatever. But you sit there and you go, I mean, like, come on, like, why are you guys doing this? It doesn't make any sense. You're behind the 8 ball or whatever. But anyway, post your comments and your thoughts. Flame away. And it's been real. I want to thank the band for what they did give me for nearly 50 years. I'm 54, so for 48 of my 54 years, this band has been hugely important to me, along with Cheap Trick and Van Halen and some other, and you know, a bunch of other bands. But Kiss was really my gateway band, and they meant a lot to me. It's sad to see them go, but everybody gets old, and you know, sometimes it's just time to call it a day. So we're going to call it a day. Thanks for watching.